Today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about caliber. Okay, so we have different caliber of dogs, and we're going to talk about it. But before we do that, please get down there and hit a subscribe on the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you like the content, stick around and check out the stuff on the channel, man. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started into this video. Alright, so different calibers of hounds. Okay, we have all different kinds of calibers of hounds, and we have them for all different types of reasons, and we have them for all different types of game, and they're bred all different types of ways. Number one, when we're selecting a caliber of dog, we need to try to understand what we are trying to do as a hunter. If we are a guy that likes to train on dogs a lot, like myself, I like to try to grab from a lower caliber dog, maybe not the lowest level, up into the medium caliber dogs, because I like to grab a hold of these medium caliber dogs and try to push them to get up into the high caliber range. If we're starting with a dog at a high caliber, but we're hunting down here at a lower level, we're going to have more issues and more headaches than you would ask for having grabbed a low caliber dog, because along with a high caliber dog that starts this way comes a lot of things that we need to be mindful of, like keeping it in the woods, keeping it hunted, keeping it fresh, keeping it going, and allowing its motor to run out. And this is all things that go hand in hand with calibers of dogs. You're going to have different levels of drive, different levels of, you know, how much motor they got on them. Do they keep revving up, or can they shut it off, right? I've gotten a hold of a very few dogs that their motor does not shut off, and it just keeps revving, and you would think ultimately that it's never going to quit revving up. And these dogs are the dogs that are kind of the dogs that will put you into the position of, I'm doing a disservice to this dog by not hunting it more, by not comp hunting it, by not doing these things for this dog. The dogs with a big giant motor on them, they will, you know, they'll put you in a spot. They'll test you. They'll test you as a hunter, and test your dedication to the woods. So being the guy that likes to train on dogs, I try to grab from a lower caliber hound, and work it through a process, and then hunt it and try to get it formed up into an elite high performing dog. And usually with that, when we grab from a lower caliber pool, they're easier to shut down. They're, you know, their motor isn't so big on them. They're not so revved up all the time, and we can just not feel so guilty or so bad about putting them up or laying them up. And then we have to understand, when we are looking into the world of different caliber dogs, okay, this dog might be a big caliber dog for this particular skill set, or this particular game, or running this particular way, and this dog might be a big caliber for this. And we need to be able to understand that, and we need to be able to understand, you know, breeding and, you know, line breeding, how tight they are bred, what kind of names do they have in their pedigree, what kind of titles do they have in their pedigree. And we need to understand that the better the pedigree, the higher chance that we have of having a very successful dog. And we can have a lower level, a lower caliber dog, and we can have a higher caliber dog. Let's say a dog with paperwork on it that has nothing but world champions in it. The caliber of that dog is, the expectation is to be huge, right? It is going to be a phenom. It's not going to be unstoppable. It's going to be prodigal. It's going to be the thing, right? It's going to be the next big thing. And then we can kind of just tear it down from there. And when we get all the way down to where we just have PR dogs, which there's nothing wrong with PR dogs. I have hunted dogs that were nothing but PR dogs. And if you guys don't know what PR is, it's purple ribbon. That's for the UKC. They have 7 generations documented, but they have no titles on them. They haven't been bench hunted or something like that. We can just get into PR paperwork. Purple ribbon bred dogs are definitely some good dogs too, and a lot of them do hunt, and that's one thing that I would just put out there to you guys. When we're looking at paperwork and dogs, if we're really expecting a dog to hunt, the more titles in that paperwork that we see, the better inkling that we get that it's going to work. And the bigger the titles are in that paperwork, the bigger chances of having a high caliber dog. Because you can get a very high caliber dog out of a very low caliber paperwork or no paperwork, but it's just kind of like you up your chances. So caliber is something that I haven't really been talked about a whole lot. And just to be honest, I think I'm the first one that I've ever heard use that terminology. I've used it in a couple of videos a few months back, and I'm starting to kind of see out there different places people are talking about this, which it takes a lot of time and a lot of, you know, paying attention to how different dogs are bred and things like that before we can really get a grasp and an idea that this idea of caliber in dogs actually does exist. And it's an underlying factor, it's a determining factor, not always, not 100%, but we want to match the caliber of dog with us. If we are just starting out in the game and we are just starting out with the dog, you're going to want to kind of pick a little bit higher up on the caliber rung, okay? So if we're just starting out for our first time, we don't need to reach for the stars and grab the next best thing, because the chances are we're just going to follow that dog up and waste a very high caliber dog. What we want to do is we're going to want to reach up into the medium caliber range and get a dog that has a good chance of success, a good chance of being kind of easy to train and a little bit more natural, and help us along our way to get up to a different level. And then once we kind of outgrow that caliber dog, then we can kind of decide which caliber that we're going to pick from, how we're going to do our hunting career when we're running dogs. But I think this is some advice that I wish that people would have gave me when I started out in the grand scheme of things. But at the end of the day, to each their own, and everybody learns lessons a different way, and everybody takes the time out to pay attention to different things. I think that over the course of my career of coon hunting and, you know, training dogs and doing different things, that I have just become more of a sponge in the sense of I like to just gather knowledge when it comes down to, you know, different aspects of training and different aspects of breeding and different aspects of handling and things like that. And one thing that I think that a lot of people aren't ever going to be able to come out and straight up say, this is how I handle my dogs in the woods, without, you know, conveying this sense of that's just a crock of crap. Because a lot of it is experimental kind of things, and you have to like tweak and play with and do different techniques and, you know, do different things to try to figure out what's going to better the dog. So sometimes it sounds so bizarre, but maybe for this specific dog, it's exactly what it needs. Maybe for this specific situation, this is exactly what needs to happen to get the dog to get around itself and figure something out. And I will say this too, is when you have an extremely high caliber dog and you're kind of more of a beginner, or you're kind of not that experienced at training dogs, what's going to happen is that dog is going to run circles around you. That dog is going to run circles around you, and that is just not even a joke. The dog is going to, you know, outwit you, outsmart you, be one step ahead of you the whole entire time. And it just makes it a difficult thing, because if we want to have a successful time training dogs, we need to be able to, in fact, be one step ahead of the dog. And we have to be able to kind of anticipate where it's heading and what kind of next step that we need to be taking with the dog to try to keep it on a forward trajectory. Because once they get out ahead of us and we don't kind of know what to expect, what they're kind of doing, we don't know what we should be doing. Oh, the dog's doing this, I think we need to do that. Okay, that kind of thing that happens is the only thing that does, it just stalls process, and it just stalls your end goal. But I really appreciate you guys coming in, taking the time to watch my video. Please get down there and hit that like and subscribe. Let's get some comments rolling on the channel. If you guys have any videos that you want me to cover when it comes down to training coon dogs, just drop it down there in the comment section, and I'll get back a hold of you guys, and maybe I'll possibly make a video. And let's get them subscribers up. Let's get this community built here. I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy sharing the knowledge and information that I have with you guys, and I'll just take you along the journey. If you guys haven't seen it yet, this video is going to come out with a video that I posted, kind of updating Tilly, her training, and how she's kind of came along at the 4-month-old mark, which is exceptionally great. Hoping that she would be just a smidge bit farther ahead, but still, I couldn't ask for more out of a 4-month-old puppy, and I am just grateful and actually really excited to keep on training Tilly. But as always, guys, keep them treated.